President's Club Award winner, Mr. Pete Van Dyke, everybody.
Oh. Thank you, everyone. Let's hear it for my introduction for Silas Jasma. Welcome, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, to Live from the Dutch Hall. We are the Canada's only live-to-air late-night talk show and the greatest podcast ever to get started in a cool set in Pine Grove, Ontario. Bar none. I'll tell you why, because we are the greatest band in Canadian late-night history. See nocturnal emissions, everybody. Let's hear it for them. This week is comprised of my good buddy, my cousin, our band leader, Michael Bow, everyone.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Really rocking out with his conch out and his hair down. That's the man that writes the music for the show, Dave the Rooster Charlie. Who's on the corner, you're wondering? That's our CRTC required French and the lovely and wrestler, Ken Belongi, everybody. And joining him on the low end, that's the balls of the nocturnal emissions. My favorite, Whiskey West Higgins. And bringing up the rears, our technical German, he's a reluctant one at that. Steve, the reluctant German on lead guitar. And our guests tonight, they didn't even know they were going to be on this show. We told them literally 10 minutes ago. They came all the way from California. We got big plans for them tonight. Mark and Sonia Roan are back, everyone. We got some great surprises, but there's only one way to get started. You gotta stop waiting. Boo. No, that was excellent, guys. That really nailed it. I thought Charters, I give him most valuable player in that whole performance. Because what he did was he stepped it up a notch. He goes, you know what? I'm feeling a little grungy. It's a little hot in here. I'm going to let out my full grease ball. I'm going to take off the hat. I'm going to show what I got cooking underneath this hat, which is a real sloppy mess, Dave. Right? Was it sweat? Grease? Did you put some product in that?
It's a lot of sweat.
A lot of sweat.
Why is it so hot down here?
I know, it's really warm here in Canada, and it is the 4th of July. This is the Americans' big holiday, and I had the luxury of some real-life Americans that were going to be here in the Dutch Hall in the basement of Spiky Ball Studios in Delhi, Ontario. I'm like, what an honor. How could I not have them on the show? But I thought, what if I asked them, and then they said no, right? That would be terrible. My whole plan be ruined. This way, I come up with this plan B. It's genius. Don't tell them at all. Just wait till they get here from a day of hard work. Totally ambush with them. Put them right on the internet. Right? You guys okay with this?
Yeah, we're fine. We have one confession, though.
What's that?
We're not officially Americans yet. We're in the process.
You're trying. Are you going dual, or are you totally betraying the country of Canada?
Well, we couldn't give up Canada.
Yeah.
Right? We're going dual.
Dual. Now, when you get dual, do you get to vote twice?
Good question. Can we even vote here? I don't think we can even vote here.
You can.
Really?
You can't vote there, can you?
We've been gone too long.
You can
Vote federal, but
Huh?
not provincial.
Oh, you can't vote provincial? Well, you give up all your rights. You're just you're a legal immigrant, right? Are you legal or illegal? Are you on Trump's list or not?
I pretty much don't think we do anything legal, actually, there at all.
No?
No. So we're
We're legal.
illegal. We're illegal.
What part of the United States do you live in?
California.
I knew that, but I was asking for
Let's lead it.
other people. That was a professional way to do it.
It's for the fans.
Except for that last part where I told you all about it. Yeah, that you're not supposed to do. Anyways, you're from California, right? And so I would assume, Sonia, you've been on our show, how much? This is your 4th time, I believe, right?
Possibly.
And I don't know, you told me one time, you said that when you were here in Canada, people would ask you, oh, you have a very ethnic look. What is your heritage? And you would say, oh, I'm a Norwindian, right? I'm half Norwegian, half Indian. And then you said you moved to California and you immediately became Mexican.
That's true.
Is that true? And now you have one little Mexican daughter as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
No one even asked down there,
mini-me.
right? No one asked. They're just.
They just start speaking Spanish to me.
It's funny, right?
Yeah, it is kind of funny.
I just think it's like if you were in the Arctic, you'd be an Inuit, right?
She could pass, right? She could pass.
Though,
If you were in
at our
Hawaii,
Greek church, they actually think I'm Greek there. When I was in Spain, they thought I was Spanish.
yes, I know.
So I'm
That's
a
nice.
chameleon.
She's a chameleon.
You know what this guy is? Pure Ukrainian. You can just see it in his face. He looks like Wayne Gretzky. Don't you think?
He does kind of look like the
Actually,
great
You
one.
can't get away with anything but Ukrainian with that face.
Yeah.
Right?
You know what else? He dangles the puck like Wayne
I
Gretzky.
bet
too.
he does.
Oh, he's a big dangler, Mike. You ever seen Mark Rona?
I have. No, I haven't.
Oh, back in the day, he'd have his hair all flown out the back of
Yeah.
his helmet.
Nice mullet.
They made him wear that helmet because if it was up to him, he'd be wearing no helmet. Am I right?
That's right. Yeah.
You want to do a sports break and talk
He
about
still
this?
went with a white Jaffa, no face mask.
Oh,
What?
That's an ugly helmet. Or is it Gretzky's?
Yeah, isn't that what Gretzky wore? A
Oh,
white
that's
Jaffa?
dirty. Yeah, rock the Gretzky.
I had more of the Butch Goring. Remember those old Butch Goring lids?
Yeah, it was
It's like 3 levels.
a little more
You could
to it. Yeah.
Crash into the boards and you'd be totally fine.
Barely feel it.
I met the Butch Goring. I did.
Really?
Yeah, at a London Knights game.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
Couple pops?
I'm not sure if it was Butch Goring or Basil McRae.
Probably Basil McRae. He's a London Knight legend.
Butch Goring used to play for the Vancouver Canucks. Is that right? I had his hockey card, I'm pretty sure, on the spokes of my bicycle. Butch Goring, I remember that guy flopping around there.
Made it sound like a dirt bike.
It sure did. You hear me coming down there. I'm driving down the concession 10 of Wyndham, right? You can hear me buzzing down there. Too bad there's no people. If a guy rides an awesome bike with cards in his spokes in the forest, but there's nobody there to hear it, is it still an awesome fucking bike, you know?
It's a good question. Question for the ages.
This show's being deep, too. I don't know if you know that. But we have some surprises for you tonight. Do you know that?
Yeah, we think
Because
we do.
not only are we going to get to know you better on the 4th of July and celebrate your future country's glory on this, the most precious of all American days,
God
right?
bless you, America.
But we are also going to challenge your country. Me and my own wife are going to challenge you and your wife to a newlywed game. You will represent the United States. We will represent Canada.
Wow.
And if we win, that means that Canada is better than the United States, right? And if you guys win, then you must leave. Right? So
Leave the state.
the country altogether, yeah. Just
leave
keep
Canada?
going. Yeah. Leave the Dutch Hall and keep going south. Don't even go to Alaska. Don't even think about it. Those people are just like us, lonely and isolated. Okay, so we have to just do one thing before we get to game. I want to ask you guys, you have been in the States for how long?
10 and a half years for me.
Wow.
10 and a half years.
That will do it.
Him even longer for this guy?
18.
Now, was the intention when you went down there to spend as much time as you have been down there?
My plan was 2 months, and I would sleep on an air mattress,
Yeah.
which I did for 2 years, and I now have a back condition because of it. So, anyways.
Now
yeah,
it's been
two-
10 years
two-
and you have a futon.
Now it's, that's right. We upgraded. Yeah.
Upgraded to a futon.
You know what? Futon. Fuck, when I was a kid, it was called a bag of sand, motherfucker. We didn't have any fancy French words for it. It was a goddamn bag of sand. You sleep on your bag of sand, my dad would say. Anyhow, just me. So,
Yep.
no, you've been there, and one time, what's the main thing that you miss about being a Canadian citizen? Which you still are, but being a Canadian resident, I should say.
Poutine.
Oh.
Really?
Nice. Poutine.
Hey, you know how, what?
Just like standard poutine.
You know
Like
how-
just curds and gravy.
They don't have curds there?
No, they do. We found them, and so
Kurds are not allowed. Trump actually.
Oh, they were on the
All
list?
Kurdish people, they are on the do
He's
not
got a
allow
camp
list.
for that.
No Kurds.
You could pass for a curd. I think, eh? No, I'm just kidding. She could pass for everything is what I mean. She's like the Rock. Eh?
my brother looks like The Rock a little
Does he?
bit. Yeah,
I can
a
see
little
that, eh,
bit
right?
back
She's
in
like
the day.
everything. Anyways, maybe we're just falling in love. No, I'm going to challenge you to a game with my wife. I wanted to get to you
My
about the
wife?
education thing. The two things, education and healthcare. Those are two things I want to ask you about.
We currently have no health care.
Oh,
Right. That's right. We
Oh.
are winging it right now, so don't electrocute me with these cords. I better not trip when I get off the stage and break a leg.
no, but you're still here. Can you use do you have coverage in Canada still?
No.
So you're no coverage anywhere.
No.
So
You're
we
real.
technically, it's in the mail. We have coverage when he's between jobs, but we actually haven't signed up for it or paid for it yet.
You guys are fucked.
Look,
But we have a 45-day window
I
to do
got
it.
in the car tonight. Sonia almost slammed the door on my fingers. I was like, like one little accent like that, I'm gonna be in
That's a pre-existing condition.
big trouble.
You got fingers slammed. Pre-existing, you get in the new job, then you get nothing. They'll say like you're out of luck.
I can't type. I can't work.
Yeah. You know what? I was hearing. You've been following the Raptors when you're in the States.
Yeah, it was big.
We
It was?
did.
And
You're-
they beat
you're
you
in the
guys up
Golden
because
State
you're
team.
from.
Oh, come on, we switched sides.
What did you? Were you
Yeah,
cheering
we
for
cheered
Golden State?
Raptors in
No,
a,
we
in
were
a
cheering for
Warriors-filled
Raptors.
restaurant.
In the
We took
Golden
our own
State.
Canadian lives in our.
Yeah,
in
we
our
were out
hands.
Because they live
dinner
down in the
that
Golden
night.
State area.
Yes, they do.
We
And
went
they
out-
had that is very brave of you, and I applaud you for your patriotism.
It was his birthday. We went out for dinner. Sean was there. We were cheering secretly. Every time they, got a basket, we'd be like,
As good Canadians would do.
yeah.
Golf clap.
You look
And then when they won, we were like, little fist pump.
You didn't
Yeah.
boo when cheer. I mean, when Kevin Durant ripped his muscle apart,
No,
like the
you
rest of the
guys got in
Canadians.
trouble. for
Actually,
that.
watched that. That was very un-Canadian.
That
Oh,
sure
very
was.
brutal, right?
Yeah, that was.
I predicted because of that they're going to lose because the basketball gods would frown upon the Toronto
Yeah.
fans.
Bad
And you know
voodoo.
what? The basketball gods didn't give two shits.
No, they're ruthless.
No, they're like, fuck that guy too. It was whatever works out for you.
It was very un-Canadian, though.
Anyways, Kawhi Leonard, he's a big deal right now where he's going to go, and because they want him to go to L.A. or he's from there, but they want him in Toronto or whatever. And then the news, or they're showing like Magic Johnson wants him to come to the Lakers or whatever, and it says, or the Clippers maybe it was, I don't know, one of those L.A. teams.
Both of them.
It said Toronto is in Canada or something.
Yeah, big billboard.
It was just like, hey Kawhi, Toronto is in Canada, right? Like it's
in case you didn't know that.
yeah, that's just like obviously you don't want to live in that shithole, That was kind of the way I read it. And you know what? The lady on the news, which I like to yell at the TV in the morning when I wake up, and my kids both do it now too. It's really funny, like that rubbed off on them.
Inherited it. Maybe you have
Yeah.
there's a gene you're passing on there.
Yeah, the yelling is a TV gene.
I have the gene as well.
Do you?
Yeah.
People will ask me all the time, like, what are you yelling about? Like, what doesn't even make any sense? Because Jane especially, because she doesn't listen to the TV. It's just background noise for her. But then she's like, I'm fucking like, I'm starting to scream like, you don't even fucking get anything. I'm just screaming like that. Anyways, we're watching the news, and they're talking about this Kawhi Leonard, who he wants to go to. Either the billboard's telling him Canada's a shithole, and then the lady goes, yeah. We should put up a billboard that says, Canada, we got health care, right? And then I'm like, but he plays in the NBA. He would have awesome health care, right? He would have like the best health care in the whole fucking country. And because if you're rich in the States, you get good health care, right?
Yeah.
Actually, apparently he's got better health care than KD, right? He didn't get very good treatment.
Terrible.
Oh,
He was out, right?
Zing.
Yep.
See,
that's true.
they pushed him too early.
Yeah, what he did was he was a victim to those American doctors. If he was up in Canada, KD be fucking whatever he'd be doing, shooting threes from
Downtown.
downtown,
Brampton.
round the bend again.
Scarborough.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what you do when you're a fucking Raptor. I don't know much about basketball, but it was. But I do know that's bullshit. You get health care in the States; it's better than ours. It's just that not everyone gets it. Just certain people get it. Here, everybody gets health care, but it's just shitty.
Yeah, but we also have to pay a lot of like co-pays and like what's the deductible? So like several thousand a year. So you have to pay all that up front. So you go to the emergency room, you go for your doctor visits, you get an
Right.
X-ray. Like you're paying a certain percentage,
It's-
like a higher
it's-
percentage until you meet the deductible, and then it's all covered.
Yeah,
Oh.
Sonia's
So-
right. It's called the nickel and dime program.
Yeah.
They nickel and dime you to death,
No.
Like
And-
you walk into a doctor's office, that's going to cost you $50.
So it's
Right.
like incentivizes you like not to always go as well. Like if it's
Yeah.
just like
'Cause I got-
every time at the ER for every little thing, you like book your proper doctor appointment because it's only a smaller copay and
Yeah, like when I got cancer, I went to a real hospital, like Jervinsky Clinic, and I had a real problem, like a bad one, and so I got real good doctors, and it was awesome. And then I realized, the general practitioners in small towns and stuff are just there for the people who are bitching about things because they're bored.
Yeah,
You know, they're the ones
exactly.
bunging up our system. So
Yeah.
if you're really sick, they'll go give you to good doctors. If you're just one of those pains in the ass, you get to go to these guys, and they're the ones that aren't worth a shit as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah?
Anyways, but anyways, I don't know what we're going to fix that. The other one was education. You said your daughter, at one point in time, you were thinking, we got to leave this country before your daughter starts school, you said.
Yep.
Because it's so goddamn expensive to put your kid through school, because if you don't put them through private school, they're going to end up with those street people that talk to Hillary Swank or something, right? Is that how it is with guns?
No,
And
we've been happy with the school.
Yeah.
Are you
so far.
private or public?
Public.
Yeah, no, we're.
But
we're
I volunteer a lot too, so I want to get a lay of the land with these little American kids.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure I have my Canadian posse
Frisk
there
'em on the
too.
way
Sonia
in.
whips him into shape.
But we have, you do volunteer a lot at the school? So there's a difference between like a Northern California school and an inner city, Detroit school or something like that? Or would they be the
Yeah,
same?
we're lucky we got good schools in our town, but the next town over, they don't necessarily have the greatest schools, and they have a lot of difficult kids, and it's a harder.
Is it because they pay their
environment to
teachers
learn.
like shit?
Yes,
Is that what it is?
and also the teachers can't afford to live in some of the areas that they're teaching because the prices are just ridiculous
And
there.
so, yeah. That's so stupid. And you know what happens is that we watch a lot of American television, and they say all the time how teachers are heroes because they kind of are there because they have to do like this noble work for shitty pay.
Yeah.
But in Canada, they get paid really awesome, and they get their whole summers off, and they get like 2 weeks for Christmas, and they get like a March break, and they get paid.
Million
and they get
snow
benefit-
days.
Huh?
Tons of snow days.
Snow days.
Oh, we don't get snow days.
No, we get poor air quality days where you get to
Smoke days.
because of the forest fires, the wildfires that are burning out there. So it's hopeful as as a kid you're
Put on the
waiting
masks.
every morning. You wake up and you say, "Oh my God! Is there a town on fire, please?
Oh.
Let there be a town on fire so I get to stay home."
No.
Yes.
Did you have?
This is awesome.
What about mountain lion days? Are there any mountain lion days where there's
Yeah,
like a
there's
mountain
some
lion
in our
sighting?
neighborhood, mountain
Roaming.
lions.
Really?
Yeah.
Keep the kids
scary.
indoors.
If you like up a hill, it's like backs onto a reserve, and mountain lions are like people post like their security camera videos
Oh, yeah.
of like mountain lions walking past their cars and stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, we saw like a trail camera from Pine Grove a few years ago. Had a cougar right by where I lived.
Oh.
And we had a coyote near our house too,
Oh yeah,
It was
those
like-
cocks, eh?
abandoned from the pack.
Right. What are you doing?
Jane's not a
I don't know
cougar.
what's happening.
Oh, Jane's the cougar.
Oh, guilty as charged.
What were you doing? What were
You know what?
doing
Let's
on
get to
that
this
trail?
game already. But we have to do a segment we call feedback. We got feedback.
We got feedback. It's feedback. Motherfucking feedback. It's motherfucking feedback. Yes.
Welcome to feedback. We got feedback. This week's segment is brought to you as always by our friends at Amazon. If you'd like to go to our website, livefromthedutchhall.com, click on that Amazon banner. If you don't see it, you probably have ad blockers on. Just temporarily shut them off, and you can do your Amazon shopping. And instead of that bald guy getting all the money, we get some, and we get to do anything we want with it.
Yeah.
We get charters some like spray-on dry conditioner. How about that?
Good. Oh, yeah.
You know what I heard about Amazon today, Pete, from my sweet sweet?
What did you hear from you?
Excellent customer service.
Susan? Really?
Yeah, like if it doesn't come within the days that they say, you can email them and say, hey, this shit didn't show up in 2 days. What the hell? They give you that plus refund.
Really?
Little did I know.
I hope I can order some stuff that doesn't show up. then from now on.
And you get that plus bonus. Giddy up.
Plus boner if you're Dutch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So just
Hey,
click that.
Norpac. The beef people. Oh, I didn't know who was going to do it. And then Yarmy Electric. You know what? I just want to say, this is Canada Day. My cousin Derek, He's got a likes to get away with his family.
He's
Spend
water
some-
skiing.
He likes to spend some quality family time. What he doesn't like is having his phone buzzing and dinging and going off about your stupid house maybe potentially burning down.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't give a fuck.
Fuck off.
The Army Electric, if we don't get it right the first time, we'll get it right the second time. And if we don't get it right the second time,
You can go fuck yourself.
brought to you by Clean Flow. Clean Flow, not enough cannot be said about Clean Flow. And I'll tell you, tonight, we will have for the winner, no, not even for the winner. I'm going to go right out for you guys.
Whoa.
Because I know you're going to lose. I'm going to
Second
give
place.
you consolation gifts from Clean Flow. And I'll give you a Dutch Hall sticker. I promise that. And if there's a shirt that fits you, it's yours. I guarantee you, but we don't have a lot of selection left for the Dutch Halls. A spiky ball. Maybe you can get a spiky ball, your hands on a spiky ball t-shirt. But also Clean Flow stuff, because I'm trying to give them a plug.
What is Clean Flow?
Clean Flow, lubricants, baby. You lube up anything. Automotive lubricants, right?
Yeah. What do you got? A sticky, I don't know, sticky, what do you got?
What do you got? Want some engine treatment? Fucking, they got that too.
You got a
need some
timing
rubber
belt
gloves?
off? Your timing belt's not ticking right, is it? Give it a little Clean Flow. See you later.
They says that if we do commercials for them, I'm not allowed to swear because it's supposed to be for CRTC or something like that.
That old
And
chestnut.
I says, I got Kev Belanger for CRTC, and that's all I need. And they're, no, not the French thing.
Oui, oui.
You need to not swear and say cunt and stuff in a commercial.
Balls and cock.
And I'm like, that's ridiculous. What kind of country do I live in? I thought this was a free country. But no, it isn't. Anyways, can't do that. Not for Clean Flow. So we ask our listeners every week for feedback. Last week was a very controversial show. We had in Joe Batello and his co-host of his new podcast, Sherry G, civilian just like yourself, and they were very controversial because Joe is hated by my audience, by some of them, but also enjoyed by some. Right? But the band. I was watching the band's face during the last week's episode. The feedback I was getting from reading their faces was that they agreed with the listeners that hated Joe. Because your faces looked very, disgusted. I thought Michael was really going to pounce at one point in time. He had like a look of disgust was some of it, but there was anger in there too. There was like frustration. There was a lot of mixed emotions. Charles was hiding his head.
Mine was all shame. I was ashamed to be in the same room with him.
And Wes, you'll never know what Wes is thinking. Still waters run deep. He is thinking about something, and none of us will ever fucking figure it out.
Most likely it is not good, though.
Steve got along well with Joe, though. Steve enjoyed it.
Nice guy.
But anyways, Joe's a very controversial figure, so we got some feedback. I'm going to read you one of them. It's from Kevin Van Dungen. He gave me an email at livefromthedutchhall@gmail.com. Oh, shit, where'd it go? I just touched it with my finger. What did it do?
And it vanished. Go figure.
It vanished. Is it in, it must be in deleted items?
The old trash can.
The old trash can. Where do I go to this one? Live from the Dutch Hall trash.
What I didn't like about Joe last week is when he attacked small towns in Ontario, particularly Innerkip. It's close to my heart.
Well, you know what? When he goes after Innerkip, he goes after your sweet, sweet.
That's right. I don't like it
And
one
your
bit.
sweet, sweet family.
And he's also Portuguese.
You have a real dislike for the Portuguese,
Yeah.
which
Not all of them.
I don't know if you know,
I don't care.
but
Who is?
Mark and I, we used to live with a Portuguese guy.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
I actually have a news flash on him.
Oh.
Oh, on the air news flash?
On the air news
Portuguese
flash.
news flash?
Newsflash.
Oh, we need a new theme song.
This just in.
Portuguese news flash. It's got to go like this. If you're going to do a Portuguese news flash theme song, it's got to have I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. Right? Feliz Navidad. They play it at every Portuguese wedding. It doesn't matter if it's in July.
You got a heck of a spread on the buffets
Anyways,
at the wedding.
he is Portuguese. Kevin Van Dungen sent a message saying, I got an idea for Joe's new podcast. I think he should get, what was her name again? Sherry to kick him in the head at the end of every show. It would be the highest rated podcast ever. is what he said, Kevin Van Dungeon. I think that's a pretty good idea, Kevin.
He's not
And for
wrong.
that, you, my friend, listener of the week.
Oh, you're the listener of the week. This is your week. It's your week, Kevin.
Kevin,
Enjoy it thoroughly.
you deserve it for that one. And we only have one other person to get to. No, we don't. And I feel real bad because my cookie lady outdid herself today. But we're going to have to go after show, post-show cookies.
Post-show cookies.
But I'll tell you about them. But we got to check in on that cookie lady because she gave us some feedback about Joe as well. You want to, what do we do?
Cookie or cheese?
No, we'll go cookie first.
Cookie. Huh?
Oh, no cheese lady either. Just cookie lady.
Just cookies, okay.
Yeah, sorry.
It's a bum clot, ras clot, pussy clot, all the clots. Yeah, we love your cookies, we love them, Susie. Susie. Keep the cookies coming, we love them. The bum clot, ras clot, pussy clot, all the clots. Keep the cookies coming, we love them, Susie. Susie. I can't wait for after the show.
Yes, very good. Yes. Susan B. From Norwich has been our cookie sponsor for some time now. She's a cherished listener, full-fledged shareholder, and dare I say, the super fan potentially. I'm going to put her in the top 10 super fans. There we go. Which is a prestigious list.
That is prestigious.
A prestigious list. Wow. And you cannot argue her place on that list because every week I get a new surprise that is one more delicious than the next. Oh, they are here.
Oh.
She invented this thing, and Kev, the French stickler, said to me, he goes, I don't know what she was up to this week, but I have never tried this before. I haven't even tried one yet, you know? And then we ate one. What they are is, I don't know what they're called, but these cookies will make you take an Oreo cookie and you will just throw it in the toilet, you know? You will vomit on it and you throw it in the toilet and you'll vomit in the toilet because it's just the thought of eating this Oreo cookie after you eat one of these is going to make you retch, is what I'm saying, because these things are so delicious. I hope I'm selling these right. They're homemade, buttercream filling. There's chocolate and vanilla. It's like a goddamn delight. Wow. And I can't believe there's that many of them left. Yeah, because crazy. I held myself back all day.
That's because Beaver's not here.
Exactly. But man, I wasn't the only one. But they're good, eh? Steve, did you tuck into those today?
I sure did.
You son of a bitch.
So good.
Steve doesn't get one after the show.
Dirty German.
Steve doesn't get one.
Fuck that.
We got to wait till after the show?
No, they're right there now. I guess you can eat one now.
Yeah, pass
you can
those
eat them
over.
during the Newlywed Game, which we're going to start right now.
Okay.
But I have to read Susan B's feedback first. Susan says, I would love to see Sherry come back for a full interview. She seems like a fascinating person with lots of stories to tell. P.S. Joe, I don't hate you, just your caca mouth. And then she does some emojis, which is like different sorts of faces. And so I never know what that means exactly. But thank you, Susan. The cookies, you've outdone yourself. I don't know. If you're going to put that list of Pete's favorites, you got to include this one on it because it's dynamite, right, Wes? It's dynamite. It's real good. Anyways, tonight's, are you accept the challenge for the Newlywed Game?
We do.
Accepted.
Well, in order to move forward for this Newlywed Game, you guys got a Newlywed Game theme song or something?
No cheese lady?
No cheese lady. Oh. No, sorry, I was wrong about that. It was cookie lady the whole time. But no Haitian dwarf either. I hope that little fella's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, you know they don't live long. Anyways, we have an exciting version. We've been doing, you haven't been listening to our show, or watching it on YouTube.
Worst friends ever.
Yeah, but we have been doing some game show flashbacks from the 70s. And this week...
No whammies.
No. Newlywed Game, Bob Eubanks. You know him?
Yeah.
Well, we don't have Bob Eubanks, and I can't be the host of the show because I'm playing, right? So what I've done is I've hired a great host, but before I introduce him, I am going to introduce my partner. And I mean that in the marital sense because I put my penis inside of her body. Ladies and gentlemen, my wife, oh, boo, Jane Van Dyke.
Mazel tov.
Yay!
Nice
Ladies
one.
and gentlemen,
Good save, Michael.
sorry about the commotion there. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure. I want you to know the questions all tonight have been prepared without my knowledge. I have no knowledge of these questions. They're prepared with the spiky ball team. No, this is on my kids. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to everybody the host of tonight's show, who's going to take over from this point forward. The host of the Dutch Hall Newlywed Game. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Flop Wilson, everyone.
Hey,
Hey, hello and welcome to the new Dutch Hall Newlywed Game. Woo! Before we get started, let's meet our couples, shall we?
Awesome.
To my left, who we have over here?
Pete Van Dyke.
Pete Van Dyke.
Jane Van Dyke.
Yeah, I'm the host of Live from the Dutch Hall, the Canada's only late night talk show. That's my wife.
You ever hear there's an old saying, you can put lipstick on a horse, but you can't lead that horse to water. And who do we have on the right?
Mark Rowan. And if I may say, this beautiful woman sitting next to me on my right, she's going to say her name is Sonia Christofferson. She's not going to accept the Rowan name, but I have a certificate that says she is my wife.
I was gonna say Rowan, actually. I'm not gonna put my real name out here. Come on.
We're winning already and it hasn't even started.
Fight,
We're
fight.
killing you because you're fighting.
And how long have the two of you been married?
10.5 years.
I would have got that wrong.
Freshly new. Nice and new here at the Newlywed Game.
That's exactly 9 months longer than my daughter's been alive.
And how long have you two lovely lovebirds, you lovely quails, how long have you been married?
Take this, Jane.
21 and a half years.
Fresh newlyweds, everyone, at the new Dutch Hall Newlywed New Game. Congratulations, everyone, on your successful marriages thus far. If you don't know how this game works,
I don't.
well, let me tell you. We will ask questions for the ladies, and we will ask questions for the men. You'll put your predictions of what you think your spouse will answer.
Can we draw pictures?
If the answer is a picture. I would say let's flip a coin, but of course, I'm a gentleman and ladies always go first.
Perfect.
Question for the women. Respond with how your husband will answer to this. What will your husband say is the weirdest thing you've ever seen him play with? And I mean real weird. It's okay, be specific. What will your husband say is the weirdest thing you've ever seen him play with? Be specific.
Does the husband have to write it down too?
Yeah, husbands, write your
And
answers.
it can be very, very long and wide.
Or a picture.
This is so hard.
The
though.
clock is ticking. Can we get clock ticking music?
That's good music, though.
Do we have answers?
It's panic time now.
Ready.
For the record, I thought the guys weren't supposed to do anything here. We were just supposed to listen. So I only cued in halfway through that we're actually supposed to think and put something down. Just for the record.
Jane Van Dyke. What did you say your husband would say is the weirdest thing you've ever seen him play with?
His pet pussy.
His pet pussy.
Pet pussy. And his answer?
A carrot.
A carrot. And to my right, the weirdest thing you've ever seen your husband play with.
His Xbox, not the console. No, I'm joking.
And your answer?
My hair.
My hair!
Orange.
2 fat zeros.
He wrote
Man,
it
this
so
is harder than I
small
thought.
too.
All right, bigger. I wasn't prepared. I'm ready now.
We're just zoning in on knowing each other.
All right, clear those answers, and we'll have an answer or a question for the men.
Thank you, Peter.
We are at 0 apiece here.
Tie game.
Tie game. Thanks for
It's close.
Well, we're really not.
thanks for keeping score there, Skip. Here's a question for the men. What will your spouse say is her favorite finger food? Her favorite finger food.
I got mine. I'm pretty sure I got this one right. Hey, she's looking right at your.
I will allow all cheating here at the Newlywed Game. Flap Wilson.
You got really.
Do we have our answers?
You have strong
Yes.
shoulders.
I said. You want to go first, Ron?
Yeah, let's go to the right side this time for your answer.
All right. So I said lettuce wrap, and actually this is my favorite, a piggy in a blanket. I just had to put it out there.
Jalapeno poppers.
Not even close.
10 years of nothing but forks and knives.
Yeah, not a finger food family.
And on this side,
I said popcorn.
And I said tie egg rolls.
You always eat popcorn when I
and
finger
nobody
you.
said anus. Now for another question for the women. Another question for the women. If we, everyone in this room, if we were to look into your bedside drawer, what would be the most embarrassing item we would find?
Oh boy.
In the women's?
Yes. Be specific. If we were to look in your
Depends
bedside
on who
drawer,
would find it.
what would be the most embarrassing thing we would find? Be specific. Very specific.
I don't know if this is embarrassing.
Your bedside, your
Honestly.
wife,
His
your wife
Tabletop.
of over 10 years, her bedside drawer.
It's filled with embarrassing things.
And we're sending charters in first. Isn't that right, Skip?
Bartender.
Big Steve.
Okay, we're ready.
You got yours done?
Yep.
Let's start on this side.
Jane's still.
Jane, what do you say?
Jane, what would we find in your bedside drawer?
My purple friend.
Grimace?
Whose bedside drawer is it? The guy's bedside drawer? Or
No, the female's
women?
bed
My
drawer.
bedside drawer.
Bedside drawer.
Purple's my
I
favorite
copied
color.
That's embarrassing.
Oh, I said sex towels, which I think is a very
Towels.
sex towels. I
that
think it's
just like any
embarrassing
other
because it's
towel?
something that I live by the rule of sex towels, and other people don't know about sex towels. But we have a whole drawer dedicated to sex towels. So you
Flap
know-
Wilson just cuts the sleeves off his shirts.
Oh, Flap.
And on this side,
Clean tissue wads for Mark.
clean. Clean tissue wads.
Clean tissue wads.
But they're already wadded.
You just wad them up. You like to wad them, pre-wad them.
All about clean sex, baby. I put wads underscore wads
Hey,
of
what do we
Kleenex.
think of that as an answer?
And a
That's
prayer
a
roll.
point.
And a prayer roll.
A point for California.
To be clear, he thought this was what was in his bedside drawer. That's what the answer
We
is.
got both sides of the bed covered.
Oh, with Mark's jizz wads?
Both sides of the bed's covered with jizz.
Clean and dirty.
All right, Flap. Here we go. Another question for the
Gentlemen?
gentleman. Yes. What would your spouse say is her favorite decathlon event?
What would I say
What would she say her favorite is?
her favorite decathlon event?
I totally know. If I don't know what the decathlon events are.
All of these questions were taken straight from 1982.
Bang, bang, bang,
I love 1982.
Well, do you remember the decathlon?
Goddamn right. Remember that guy, 82 there?
Just general track and
No,
field
76.
events.
Remember the decathlon in 76? There was that dude that won it? He's a
Nope.
chick now.
Oh. Right.
Decathlon.
Yeah. I got this one, Shaz.
I like long distance running.
You can't look.
All right, let's go to our lovely couple on the left here.
I don't know if this is a decathlon event, but I know that my wife loves this track event. It's called the triple jump.
Triple jump.
Triple jump, we got a point.
Ah,
Hop,
boy.
skip, and a jump.
Runners in tight shorts.
Triple jump, baby.
Triple
Have a
jump.
point. Have a point.
Yeah,
over
come on,
there.
jump,
All
buddy.
right. Woo.
1, 2, 3, triple jump. Hop, skip, and a jump.
Everybody loves triple jump.
All right, now we're moving
Except
on
for Sonia.
to the
I've
more
never heard of triple jump.
the more hard questions. We're moving on to more intimate questions.
Oh my goodness.
We have
Thought that
reached
one
the
was, actually.
intimate round. All right, this is for a question for the men, right?
Yes.
Let's do a question for the men. If your partner was to murder you in your sleep, which household item would they choose to do so with?
So if the wife killed the husband,
Yes.
What's she going
what
to kill me
would
with?
she use?
If your wife was to kill you in her sleep, which of her favorite household items would she use to do so? Take it out and bonk you over the head or slice you up into little pieces while you softly sleep in your nice linens.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna need a few minutes here.
It's a big house.
Why do you want to beat me with multiple things?
Yeah, I just can't decide which one.
His favorite.
tough one. So many things to murder with.
I hate violence.
Probably shouldn't do those other questions.
Was it
right in a
household
row.
item? Was it household item?
Household item, yes. Household item.
Are we your most boring guests ever?
No, this is the most interesting show of
All right, I
the
got it.
Flap
I'm
Wilson
just saying, 'cause we're
Newlywed
not
New Dutch
that
Hall New
chatty
Game.
with you.
I like flap.
Let's go to this side and see. Okay, if your wife was to kill you in your sleep, what would she use?
She would use nothing. It would just be air from our house because I actually almost die every night sleeping
What?
on my own.
How?
I think she's going
I
to
would
use
use
an
the
iron.
iron because he likes to iron his clothes, and then I would nag him to death too.
After taking a hot iron to the face.
Oh, man.
Literally or figuratively?
No, she'd club him in the face with a fucking iron, and then she would nag him while he was like in pain on the ground until he was
Finish him
dead.
off.
That's a brutal death, man.
That's awesome.
Iron. My white shirts are gonna get.
They
blown
must
all
really
over
be
them.
in love. I got mine
It's gonna
wrong.
cross my
We're
mind.
tied
every
at one
time he
apiece.
irons.
I said she'd say, I said bleach or some sort of poison.
Yeah,
Good
that's
one, Jane.
probably more true because this is fairly violent.
She just went straight for
Straight
the
weapon.
But it'd be so quick.
Nothing.
I got the right
Tradition.
spot.
Quick and easy.
Where would you stab me?
I don't know. I'd go for the neck somehow.
Wow.
Okay, moving along to the more intimate questions. All right, here we go. This is for the.
Stab me in
next-
the neck.
It would be to minimize your pain.
Thank you.
Thoughtful.
Sorry.
Keep
No
shoving
worries.
it in
Are
his
we looking?
pocket.
This is a
Keep it
question
out.
for the women, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is a question for the women. All right, yeah. Question for the women. The last time you and your partner made whoopee, how many times will he say the seconds went around on his watch? How many times did the second hand go around on his watch? I believe that's the minute hand.
How many minutes?
How many times did this? The last time you were making whoopee, how many times did the second hand on your wristwatch go around? Or minutes. The second hand on the watch. A lot of people have digital clocks now. This joke's was written a long time ago. How many minutes you banging for is what I'm asking.
2 times.
20.
What's up, California?
Sonia was obviously thinking it was a
Timber.
Friday night after I'd had a few drinks. I went with 11, Mark Messier. Woo!
Giving you the generous 20 over there, and you went with the honest 11.
Yeah. I don't know how honest this is. I think
Still a
it's
solid effort.
you gotta go first though, don't you?
Yeah, literally
Okay.
2 times.
The last time you and Peter made whoopee, how many times will he say the second hand went around on his wristwatch?
2 times.
It's such bullshit. It's such bullshit because like I said 30 minutes.
Wow.
And
Is your watch broken?
30.
She has to be in the room.
It seems like 2 minutes for her because he's having such a great time. For me, it's a lot more arduous. I'm doing all the work. I'm full of sweat. I'm on pills that don't let me come.
All right. Are we still tied? We're tied, right? Skip,
Did you
keep
guys
the
have a
score?
game too?
Tie game.
Okay, tiebreaker, Skip.
We got one more question. Yeah, for well, we got more. We can keep going all night if we want to. I got tons of questions. Here's a question for you all. Here's a question for you.
I'd say next answer, right answer wins. So
Okay, right answer
Winner
on this
take all
one
sudden
wins.
death.
sudden death.
Sudden death. Here we go. using the first letter of your, this is for the men. This is for the men.
Okay.
Using the first letter of your partner's name, describe what they, no. It's a tough game, all right? It's a tough game for Flap Wilson. Using the first letter of your partner's name,
First letter's a J.
describe what they say you'd come up with to best describe their sex drive. Using the first letter of your partner's name, use the word they would use to best describe their sex drive. Yeah, this is a great tiebreaker question, yeah. Good one. The other one was about Lazy Susans. Who owns a Lazy Susan anymore?
My Susan works hard.
Yeah, all the Susans I know bake me cookies.
I could help you out, but that won't help.
One word.
One time.
Let's give them some more time on the clock. You know what they say, a minute is oftentimes longer when you're standing on the other side of the bathroom door. Let's check in on our lovebirds, shall we? Lovebirds, newlyweds of over decades. At the new game on the new Dutch Hall Newlywed Game.
2 decades.
What? Using the first letter of your wife's name, which is? Sonia.
Sonia.
What would you describe her sex drive as?
Sporty.
A sporty sex drive. Like a,
And by that I mean
a Ferrari.
opportunistic, stamina, and flexible.
Wow,
Nice.
honey.
sporty. You could have just went with
Nice.
sexy.
I came up with a question mark because I don't know.
You could have just went with sexy. You got a gorgeous wife.
Easy.
Sexy.
You.
Now over here on this side, you couldn't have went with gorgeous because gorgeous starts with the G.
J, though.
Yes. Did I say you couldn't do gorgeous?
No, you couldn't.
I would. I'd say
We gorgeous with a J?
gorgeous with a J. That's what I...
Silent J.
Gorgeous.
What do we have, Peter?
Her name's Jane, so I had to go with the J word, and I didn't know any. So I went with just okay.
Oh.
Well, it's talking about your sex
Maybe
drive.
tonight it'll be
I have
just
one.
not happening.
It's not about your ability in the bed. It's about the drive. It's unpredictable. I
If
didn't
it
know.
was I, it would be intermittent.
Oh yeah, I could have got. We would have nailed that one. That's what I would
Yeah.
use sporadic.
Your name was
What did
Irene.
Jane say?
I was like,
Juicy.
juicy.
And I
don't
believe
even
that
know
answer.
What that means.
How about triple
That's an
jump?
answer you can set your watch to.
God damn it! I should have known. Juicy sex drive. God damn it.
Well, it looks like we have a tie tonight. Both these couples love each other just a little. Good night, everyone.
Pretty accurate.
Hey, let's hear it, everybody, for Flap Wilson. Play him out, people. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Mark and Sonia Rowan, who have joined us all the way from California. Happy 4th of July,
Thanks for
everybody.
having us.
And if you'd like to send us some feedback, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can go to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all those things, or you can send us an email live from the DutchHall@gmail.com. But until next week, we will see you NT. See you next Thursday.
Oh, that was Maya.